Welcome back to The Most Important Thing. I'm Danielle.
And I'm Greg, and together we're exploring family culture and leadership at home. Today, we are talking about prioritizing cognitive patience. This is a term that Danielle first threw out in an interview with the CEO of Tin Can. And I think you and I had a moment where we locked eyes through the computer screen and we were like, whoa, we need to talk about that some more. Right?
It's something that keeps coming up, probably because we realize just how much it's lacking in our day-to-day.
It's lacking, and I don't even know if I have a great definition for it. So do you have a way that you would explain it to people?
Sure. I can give you the neuroscientist definition from Maryanne Wolf. And what she calls cognitive patience is the ability to slow down and engage deeply with a text or an idea without succumbing to digital distractions.
Okay. So this is something that's fairly new then, right? Cognitive patience being that digital distractions is kind of the key thing that's pulling us away, or is this throughout humanity? Like where do we sit with this?
I think that cognitive patience has always been there, but we didn't need a term for it because it was just called life. And it's no longer just called life.
So this is one of those things that got defined as we've lost it.
Yes.
Right. So it's not like someone has more than someone else. It's more like we are all looking for a way to regain this, to bring this back.
Yeah. I mean, certainly you and I have been looking for a way to regain this more recently.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of you can relate, but I just find myself categorically incapable of reading a long form article these days.
Yeah. Tell me about it. We live in a world that has made it easier to quit, more so now than ever. Right?
Yeah. Tap out for sure.
And so we're not talking about attention span. We're actually talking about sticking with hard things.
Yes, in the sense that cognitive patience really comes into play when ideas start to become unclear, and we really need to push through to understand what's happening in the text or in a word problem or in a game.
I think that the mental discomfort is really the thing that we're exploring today, right?
Yeah, or at least how much we are noticing how easy it is for us to tap out of it. And I love, Adam Grant says that the first rule of improvement is to recognize the need for improvement. And so that's what we're here to do today.
Yeah.
Right? It's something that I think you and I consider ourselves to be pretty intentional people. If you are listening to this podcast, it is because you are an intentional parent and adult.
Right.
Right? And yet, I would be remiss if I didn't think that some of us are scrolling Instagram while watching TV at night with our spouse.
Totally.
Or cannot seem to get through a long form article.
Up until the last, maybe 20 years, like when you and I were growing up, cognitive patience was something that we had no other choice but to develop. And now we're realizing that we're losing it, and we have to turn this into a practice and build it together as a family.
Especially because I do believe that the next generation, our children today, do not have nearly as many natural opportunities for cognitive patience as we did. And so I think that we are the ones that are able to really see that delta, see that change happening. And so it is our job as parents and as leaders of our family to create more opportunities for time away from digital distraction, time away to engage deeply with a text or a problem, so that our kids even know that that exists.
I'm not modeling it so well for our family anymore. Like, it's not something that is innate and natural. It's something that I need to do a podcast episode about, just to be able to develop some practice areas to work on.
Agreed. So if you're anything like us and you are finding yourself increasingly distracted, even when you've decided that you want to focus on something that is worth your attention, this episode is for you.
Yes.
And so today we're going to talk about why cognitive patience matters and offer 3 guiding principles in how to grow and support cognitive patience within our family.
Love it.
So first, what are some examples of cognitive patience in everyday life? we've talked a bit about reading a novel or a long form article rather than just skimming it, right?
Hmm.
But there are others.
Yep.
I would say when it comes to text, there's also the idea of writing something yourself, not with GPT, and rewriting and revising it, being able to engage deeply in the written word that you've written,
Oh, totally.
right? And
Yeah.
so I think AI, and in particular our consumer use of it, as opposed to the engineering use of it,
Yeah.
right, is a big part of why you and I are finding the need to dedicate space to cognitive patients, because it is just getting easier and easier to develop a cursory or surface level understanding of something and even share it with someone through email or otherwise and keep moving,
Hmm.
right? And I feel the muscles in my brain atrophying where I'm not developing deep understanding or allowing myself to think critically about problems, because there's always a cheaper dopamine hit or digital distraction one click away.
Absolutely. Um, there's a lot of examples that we could go into just around AI. I want to keep this a little bit higher level.
There's plenty in modern day today. I
Yeah.
mean, even just look at, I do New York Times games on my phone. And, while even 10 years ago, people used to sit with a physical newspaper and do the full New York Times crossword because that was what was available to us. Now we can do the crossword mini with a timer in under a minute,
Hmm.
right? It's like 7 questions. They're no more than 5 letters each, usually. And so the world is really creating these opportunities for us to keep it surface level.
Well, when the currency is attention, absolutely. That's going to be the way that we get optimized through someone else's funnel. Oftentimes I'm guilty of this. I know you are too. I open up X or Instagram and I forgot what I went there for. I'm
Uh-huh.
like reading something and I'm like, wait, I opened this for a reason. I was like, gonna go look something up. It's brutal.
It's really
It's
brutal.
brutal.
And this is why we wanted to talk about this explicitly with our family and with all of you, because if we don't dedicate intentional space for long form reading, sustained mental attention,
Yeah.
it's just not going to happen.
No, not only is it not going to happen, but it's going to feel like a chore when we need to do it.
Yeah, well, I already see it in things like word problems with Hunter today,
Yeah.
right? Hunter is great at math computation. It comes easily to her. She wants to keep moving and moving, progressing and progressing through longer division and more difficult fractions, things like that. But give her a word problem and all bets are off. Like the chances of her being able to read and comprehend a 3 sentence word problem and really understand which computations to do and what is the question actually asking is a big challenge for her.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big challenge for her. And, she's 8. So some of this is developmentally appropriate. But more than anything, I see her desire to rush through and continue on to the next problem. So, and it's not, and, I do spend some time with her peers, and it is not just Hunter, right? It is that everyone wants to just pick a
Yeah.
computation, say, you know what, these 2 numbers look like they should be subtracted
Yep.
and move on. And so now we've been spending time, we have a couple days a week where we just do word problems. And we are trying to really immerse ourselves together in the story of the word problem or the outside of the box logic problem, because that is how we really learn. That's how
Yeah.
understanding is deepened. And so much of this is not about productivity or achievement. It's about practicing the skill of staying engaged, even when thinking becomes uncomfortable.
Of course. What I've noticed is that with Hunter, speed is the name of the game. Endurance does not really affect the way that she thinks about things. If she's tapped out, she's done. She's not like, oh, I'm going to push through.
Mm-hmm.
Confusion, like that's the enemy.
Right.
If she's confused, like there's something that's gone horribly wrong. Instead of like, that's kind of the point. Let's read the problem again.
And I think that's natural, though. I do
Yeah,
think
of
that,
course.
some of it is being a kid in today's world, but some of it is just being a human.
Totally.
We are doing more than ever while feeling less than ever.
Yeah.
Right. And that's something that I read in an article recently that really resonated with me.
Hmm.
So I think you and I feel the need for cognitive patience, right? We feel it slipping from our fingers, and we are intentionally trying to bring it back into our family. But why? Why does cognitive patience really matter? And so I did some research, and it turns out that this is where learning really happens. When a person can stay with an idea for long enough, that's when we can deeply understand instead of just surface level comprehend. And it's where we can start to make connections and see through lines to other things in our life and really be able to play with the problem, right? So once we're able to move beyond that surface level understanding, that's when we're able to build critical thinking skills. And really, this is the opportunity to look at a problem from someone else's perspective or be able to evaluate an argument from both sides, right? And it is through slowing down, reading long form, whether that's a novel or a long form article, or playing with a problem that the answer doesn't immediately reveal itself, that we are actually able to create that type of learning. And then the third reason is really that it's so confidence boosting to know that I can stay with this, that this problem got difficult and murky and I didn't know the answer right away, but I figured it out, right? And in a world where every online education tool has a little button at the bottom of the question that says hint, we are not giving our children the opportunity to stick with things in the way that they are so capable of doing. And so this is where we as parents, we as leaders really need to support our children in holding a high standard for cognitive patience. And that begins with us.
It sure does.
And yet, there are so many opportunities today to take the easier route. So lately, we've had a lively debate in our home around what books to check out at the library.
Yes.
And in particular, at least at our Delray Beach Public Library, there are a ton of graphic novels.
So a huge section with like 4 or 5 different bookshelves, front and back, rows and rows of graphic novels.
Basically, if there has been a popular series in the
In chapter
juvenile
books.
fiction,
Yeah.
it has been turned into a graphic novel.
Mm-hmm.
And they're glossy and they have pretty pictures. Our kids gravitate towards those so much faster than they gravitate towards the actual chapter books.
Of course.
Those are certainly not an opportunity for the cognitive patience that we are talking about today. And so for now, graphic novels are banned in our home.
Yeah.
Because if you like a book enough or a series enough to want to read it, I want you to be reading the chapter books, creating the imagery in your brain, and actually reading about another person's perspective, not just the quotes of what they're saying, and the beauty of written text.
Well, it's marketing, right? Graphic novel sounds, there are novels in it, right? It's definitely something that is teed up for kids to want. And that is not an accident.
No, it's not. And I think there's a lot of promising research out there that says for a certain type of child, one that is not inclined to read, graphic novels are a great entry point.
Sure.
That is not what we have in our family.
No.
We so far seem to have 3 very eager readers.
Mm-hmm.
And what that means is that they can fly through 6 graphic novels in a day and be incredibly stimulated by what they have seen from a visual processing standpoint and what they are trying to ingest from a dialogue standpoint, right?
Yeah.
And so we've been asking this question around, like, what are you actually trying to achieve? If you really want to immerse yourself in the world of Wings of Fire, a graphic novel is not the way to do it. A graphic novel is a way to speed through and only get a tenth of the dialogue, of the context, of the imagery, of intonation, which is completely lacking, other than, an exclamation point or an italics. And what we find is that we have hyped up children who think that they have conquered something when really they've just created this very surface level understanding of a world where they could go so much deeper.
It's like they're watching a screen. The text is there. The pictures are there. They're just not hearing anything.
There may be a time and a place for them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. However, in the context of building cognitive patience, I don't see a place for graphic novels in our family home.
Agreed. I will label them remedial fiction.
I will label them cotton candy for your eyes.
There we go. What about the thing that you have heard from a number of children as a pushback?
Yeah, so it has been shared with me from some of the children in our community that I need graphic novels, otherwise I won't know what these characters are supposed to look like. And when I suggested that they use their imagination, I got blank stares.
Yeah.
So these are anecdotes, right? And multiple anecdotes are not data.
Yeah.
But it does give me the confidence that I need to say, as one of the leaders of our family, that just because there are a ton of graphic novels available to us when we go to the library does not mean that we need to take them. Just because there are a ton of, quote, healthy food snack items at Whole Foods doesn't mean any of them are appropriate for our family.
That's right. Yeah. Great analogy.
That's the conversation that bike riding to school today, Hunter Jade and I had, which is that it's a lot harder to be a kid today than it was 30 years ago. And I'm sorry for you, because you are inundated with ways to take the easy way out. There, where we had the Babysitters Club, you could, if you even can find the Babysitters Club on the shelves, which I couldn't the last time I went to the library, but you can certainly find a graphic novel, which, by the way, if you're wanting to buy and not borrow at the library, costing multiple of the price of the typical novel, right? Yet can be consumed in a tenth of the time.
Sure.
So what I've been trying to express to the girls is that my standard has not changed. Just because the denominator of what is publicly available has increased in the amount of crap that is out there, I'm still going to direct you towards and focus your opportunities on the things that meet our standards.
Yeah. We have to play a lot of defense. Like, these are packages that are sold to parents just as much as to the kids. The kids want them because they're, easy on the eyes, and you don't have to use your imagination. But in all these cases, it's ours to decide what gets through. And so that defense really is about how to practice together how we sit through hard things, and then it won't matter.
Right. And so I have a couple of ideas for how to sit through hard things together as a family in a gamified way.
Yeah.
So can I share some of my favorite games?
Sure.
Okay, great. And we will link to each of these in the show notes. So one of my favorite games is called Cat Crimes. It is a who's to blame logic game, and it's by Think Fun. You can buy it on Amazon. And there are 40 crimes to solve from beginner to expert.
This is a fun one.
It's so fun.
It's a really fun family game.
It is. And I have to say that I know a lot of kids that really, really enjoy it, because it can be at all levels. Because, question number 1 is really easy. Question 40 took Hunter and I 5 days to complete. And so, talk about cognitive patience, right? So not only did we give it our sustained attention for, 20 minutes, 30 minutes at a time, but we had to come back to it day after day and push through.
That's great.
And know I can stay with this.
Yeah.
And it will come, right? And so there's this brain science idea called the incubation effect. We all know it, which is that if you can't figure out a problem, take a walk, get away from it for some time, and allow your subconscious to do the work for you. These opportunities are so rare today to use the incubation effect, right?
True. Yeah,
so rare. So Cat Crimes is a great opportunity to use the incubation effect, especially as you get into the harder ones. But basically, What it is a number of proof statements to help you figure out where the cats should be sitting in the living room. And you get to figure out who ruined the shoes or ate the bird to solve the crime.
Yep. Yeah.
And there also is dog crimes if you're more of a dog lover.
Oh, I didn't know that. Cool.
Yes, it's the same. It's the same
Makes
idea.
sense.
But the thing that this provides is a eureka moment, right?
Yeah.
When you finally solve it, the joy, the eureka of it all
Yes.
is what I'm after.
Yeah.
And that takes cognitive patience, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are some ideas that can only come to us if we have the patience to wait for them. And in this world today,
the eureka moment,
we need to create them.
That's a really good notice. We don't have space for many of those.
No.
And when we do,
bringing them back.
They feel so good.
I give a couple more.
Of course.
Okay, so this is another one. This is like a great travel game. A friend told me about this. It is called Puzzle IQ. This one's called IQ Fit. They have a couple of different ones, and this is like a 3D piece. But it's basically a spatial version of cat crimes. So if cat crimes is written word proof statements that you have to use logic to figure out who committed the crime, this is a puzzle opportunity where you're given half of the solution and you need to rotate the pieces in your brain, or actually physically on the board, in order to fill out all the holes. So I love these. I mean, the through line with all of these games, in addition to the opportunity for a eureka moment, because some of these take me forever, it's that they give you a problem statement and then you have to come up creatively with the solution through a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
And there are moments of frustration, moments of complete ambiguity, or even how do I get started? And what I have seen in our kids with things like cat crimes and puzzle IQ is they just get started. And that is what we're trying to cultivate here.
Yeah.
Just get started, because you can do this. It's just going to take some time to push through for all of us.
For sure.
And then my littlest one, which has been a huge hit with all three of our kids. It's one of these HABA games, which we love HABA here. And this is a HABA construction set, but it's the same idea where they give you a problem set and then ask you to figure out what blocks are used to create this construction set.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 different developmentally appropriate opportunities for cognitive patience.
Yeah.
For a lot of trial and error, and I can guarantee some eureka moments and a feeling of I can do this in working through them.
Mm-hmm. No hints, no cheat sheet, no prompting AI, just your brain and working through a problem.
Exactly. So those are some of the things that we have found in order to really sustain cognitive patience as a family. But we would love to hear from you if you have any other favorite activities or games that really support cognitive patience in your home.
Yeah, I think this is why people take up golf.
It's definitely slowing down that feedback loop. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to talk about 3 things to keep in mind while cultivating cognitive patience at home. And I think we've touched upon these, but just to really make the implicit explicit, as we are apt to do here at The Most Important Thing.
Yeah.
So the first is that cognitive patience is relational before it's individual. So all of these games that I mentioned, Cat Crimes, Puzzle IQ, the HABA construction set, we do them with the kids, right? Because I love them, one, but also because...
You mean the kids do them with you?
But also because it's really important to scaffold their learning, because the I can do this takes some time to build that confidence, especially in a world where the distractions, the hints are so prevalent.
Yes.
The second is to remember, and this is one that I really need to remember, is that the goal is endurance, not correctness. So let them try to go down the rabbit hole figuring out a word problem in completely the wrong direction.
Yeah.
They're never going to understand the error of their ways, and I'm talking to myself right now, but they are never going to understand the error of their ways if they don't figure out that way and take the path that they first thought of.
It's so hard to bite your tongue
Oh my gosh, I'm the worst at it. I'm like, I disagree. I disagree. And then the third is that short, repeated reps beat grand gestures. So I wouldn't suggest sitting down and reading an entire chapter book in one sitting as a family, but breaking it up one chapter a night so that everybody has the time to really go to bed thinking about what these dragons looked like or where the unicorns sleep at night.
Yeah.
It can cultivate so many of the things that we're talking about around deepening our understanding and allowing critical thinking to flourish.
Yep. So if everyone can take one thing away from today, what do you think that one thing is?
So are you saying what's the most important thing about
Yes.
cognitive patience?
Yes.
To me, the most important thing about cognitive patience is recognizing natural opportunities for it today are scarce. And so we need to set aside intentional time for it as a family to build that muscle because it is such an important part of learning, of deep understanding, of critical thinking, and of beauty. Every child deserves to have a eureka moment.
Yeah.
That's what I'm taking with me today.
I like that.
How about you?
It's the same thing. We've gotten so good at removing friction that all of the benefits that friction brings, we're also throwing out. And so we have to practice sitting with friction, sitting with mental discomfort, because the other side of it is where those eureka moments are.
Yeah. All right. We are bringing back the eureka moments.
That's right.
One cat crimes at a time.
One cat crimes at a time. Okay.
Great. Well, thank you everybody for joining us this week on The Most Important Thing. We would love to hear the ways that you are bringing cognitive patience back into your family life. And we'll see you next time. Love you, Goosey.
Love you, Goosey.